Oslo is one of those cities that completely surprised me. It definitely has way more to offer than people give it credit for. So in this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about visiting Oslo, Norway, including transportation tips, how expensive it really is, what it's like as a solo traveler, my exact itinerary, common mistakes to avoid, and the things I genuinely think are worth doing. Hi, I'm 𝗧𝗜𝗑. I'm a travel creator sharing weekly vlogs, guides, and tips to help you explore the world, plus creator advice to grow your brand and land collaborations. Before planning a trip to Oslo, it's very important to know what kind of city it is. In a way, Oslo feels calmer, cleaner, and way more nature focused than I expected. Definitely a city, but nature is built into everyday life here. You'll see people swimming in the fjord, hiking, taking saunas, and spending time outside even when it's cold or rainy. One of the biggest things to understand before coming to Norway is how to work your mindset around the weather. Norwegians have this saying, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothes. And while I was there, I could definitely understand what they mean. The weather changed constantly while I was there. Some days it was raining, some days it was sunny, sometimes it was windy, and then pretty cold at night. So layering is absolutely essential if you're visiting in the spring or shoulder season. I would recommend packing a waterproof jacket, layers you can easily remove, comfortable walking shoes, an umbrella, and clothes that you can mix and match and rewear just to keep your packing a bit light. I went to Oslo in April of 2026 and I honestly think it was a very underrated but great time to visit. It felt way less crowded than peak summer, but I still got a mix of chilly weather, sunny days, and longer daylight hours. If you want the best balance overall, I'd probably recommend going in spring, summer, or early fall. Summer definitely gives you more daylight hours, warmer temperatures, more outdoor activities, and overall there's more fjord tours and island ferries running. But the shoulder season gives you fewer crowds, which is awesome, especially with a pretty popular city like Oslo, lower prices, and a more relaxed experience overall. Now, let's talk about the thing that everyone warns you about when you're coming to Oslo or Norway in general. Yes, Oslo is expensive. Food, coffee, transportation, and accommodation definitely adds up quickly. But I also think Oslo is one of those cities where planning smart definitely makes a difference in the long run. Because I planned this trip pretty far out, I was able to get pretty good prices on my accommodations, and transportation wasn't really that bad either, especially when you can walk to most of your destinations. The biggest spender in my experience was food and like eating out and stuff. I didn't really do that much shopping, so shopping wasn't a factor. It was mainly just like your day-to-day meals. One app that I highly recommend downloading, which is used by even locals, is called Too Good To Go. I used it for cafes and bakeries during the trip, and it's definitely recommended. I love this app, and I truly, genuinely wish it was in cities in the US. I don't know if it is, but it's definitely not in Atlanta. It's a great way to help prevent wasting food and having these local restaurants and bakeries to toss their food where you could, pay a lower price for it. Highly recommend. Such a great app. I also found that getting snacks or food from the grocery stores or getting your meals at food halls like I did definitely helps you save quite a bit as well. I went to Oslo Street Food, Barcode Street Food, and Mathallen, which gave me more affordable options without feeling like I was sacrificing the experience. Plus, I love a food hall because of the vibe, and all of the food halls in Oslo were pretty cool. If you're planning a Norway trip or interested in exploring more European destinations, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my adventures. One of my favorite things about Oslo was how easy the transportation system was. I used buses, trams, streetcars, trains, and regional transportation, and everything felt really connected and efficient. Before your trip, download the Ruter app. It made navigating Oslo so much easier, and it's definitely a great way to quickly and efficiently get your transportation ticket. I used it to plan routes, check schedules, buy tickets, and figure out which transportation option made sense in real time. What I liked about Oslo's transportation system is it was very beginner friendly friendly. This was probably the first like European city that I've been to that I hadn't gone on like the wrong train, gotten off on the wrong stop, none of that. It was the most clearest transportation I've experienced, which was awesome. What I would typically do is just like type in where I was trying to go on Google Maps and then just follow that. But I would always use the Ruter app to purchase my tickets. One mistake I saw a lot of people making was paying for the fly to get city to airport express train. A lot of people like automatically went straight to it. I just got tickets for the regular train. From what the locals told me is it gets you to and from Oslo in pretty much the same amount of time. The fly ticket just doesn't have as many stops, but it's like the same amount of time, so it's not really worth the money that you're spending for it. Unless timing is like extremely tight, which in many cases it won't be, I'd recommend just getting the regional train, which was always on time and consistent. If you have a super early morning flight like I did, my flight was at 6:15, like it departed at 6:15. This is what I did instead. At first I was a little stressed about transportation because the regional city to airport trains and the fly to get did not start that early. It was just too early for the time I needed to get to the airport. If I needed to leave the city at 6:15, I would have been fine. The fact that my flight was departing at 6:15 meant I needed to get to the airport earlier than that time. Instead of fully sleeping that night, I took a long nap earlier in the evening, woke up around 1:15 to finish packing and get ready. Then I took the 2:50 a.m. bus to the airport. What surprised me was it wasn't like an airport tourist shuttle bus. It was like a regular city bus stop at first, and then it dropped us on the highway. An airport bus ends up coming from that stop on the highway and takes you to the airport. For that second bus, you could either buy a ticket beforehand or you could just buy it once you get onto the bus. I personally wouldn't get the ticket beforehand unless you know exactly what you're doing, because you can't use like the ticket you would buy with the Ruter app to get on that bus. It's a different system. But honestly, it works smoothly, and especially if you're getting on that early, like no one's gonna bother you or anything. If you're visiting Oslo, I also recommend doing Norway in a nutshell, especially if it's your first time in Norway. I'm not gonna go too deep into it here because I'll have a separate Bergen guide and a Norway in a nutshell vlog, but it's one of the most scenic travel experiences I've ever done. The combination of trains, ferries, mountain views, fjords, and tiny villages honestly felt so unreal in person. I've been to a lot of cities as a solo traveler, and Oslo is definitely a city that I would recommend if you're traveling solo. The city felt very safe, very organized, and very calm. I never felt uncomfortable walking alone or walking in like certain areas. Even at night in the busier areas, I honestly felt fine. Like everyone just minds their business, which I love. And because the city has such a strong cafe culture and outdoor culture, eating alone or exploring alone, no one's gonna look at you a different type of way. I typically don't care. Like I love taking myself out to eat and stuff, but I know some people are a little iffy about that. No one's paying you any mind. Trust. No one really bothers you, but if you need help, I feel like English is one of their most spoken languages. From what the locals told me, like they learn English in school or they try to pick up English by themselves by like watching TV or listening to music or whatever. If you ask them a question or something, they're gonna speak to you in English and be pretty friendly about it. You don't need to be fluent or anything in Norwegian to visit Oslo. Pretty much everyone speaks perfect English in my opinion. But as always, I feel like learning a few phrases in the country's language makes interactions feel more personal, respectful. I know people like to know that you're trying. So I would always say takk, which means thank you, or tusen takk, which means thanks so much. That's like the easiest to and the most polite. One of my personal favorites, which is skål, which means cheers. Even just using small phrases at cafes or restaurants felt appreciated. If you've made it to this point of the video, comment takk so I can know who my real ones are. If you're trying to figure out how many days that you might need in Oslo, I think 3 to 4 full days works really well, especially if you want to balance hikes, day trips, museums, different neighborhoods. This is the exact structure structure I followed in my itinerary. My first day in Oslo was really about getting oriented and adjusted to the city. I started with a cafe stop, then I joined a walking tour, which I highly recommend doing early in your trip because Oslo's layout and history starts making way more sense afterward. One thing I noticed quickly is how modern Oslo feels while still having pockets of history and character. Later that day, I explored Oslo Street Food, which is great if you want variety without spending an insane amount on one meal. Then I ended the night admiring the Oslo Opera House, which is honestly one of the coolest buildings in the city because the architecture is designed so you can literally walk on top of it. Day 2 ended up being one of my favorite days of the entire trip. I did a fjord hike and waffle tour, which combined nature with local food culture in a way that felt very Norwegian. That's one thing I really liked about Oslo. You don't have to choose between city and nature. You can genuinely experience both in the same day. I spent time around 𝗧𝗜𝗍𝗦𝗦𝗧𝗏, which is basically Oslo's main street for shopping, restaurants, and people watching. I visited the Munch Museum, the 𝗧𝗜𝗏𝗦𝗧𝗏 Library, and Aker Brygge. The 𝗧𝗜𝗏𝗦 Library surprised me. If you're not someone who normally visits libraries while traveling, the architecture and views alone make it worth stopping by. That night, I went to a salmon restaurant called The Salmon near Aker Brygge that ended up being one of my favorite meals in Oslo. I still think about it to this day. It was so good. And it had a little museum attached to it, which was awesome. Comment below and let me know what's one thing you'd want to do the most when you visit Oslo. Is it the fjords, the museums, the food, or the saunas? After Norway in a nutshell and spending time in Bergen, I came back to Oslo for another couple of days and focused more on museums, neighborhoods, and slower exploring. I started by visiting the Henny Onstad Art Center, which I think is really underrated if you enjoy modern art. Then I spent more time around 𝗧𝗜𝗠𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗏 for shopping and cafes before heading to Barcode Street Food. One thing I appreciated about Oslo is that even though it's expensive, there are still ways to balance your budget if you mix in food halls, bakeries, and grocery store meals. My last full day in Oslo honestly felt like the perfect mix of everything the city does well. I started with a sauna experience at Kok Oslo, which I highly recommend because floating saunas are such a big part of Norwegian culture. Not only that, but is one of the most amazing and memorable experiences I've had, period. Then I visited the Norwegian Museum of Cultural History, Vigeland Park, Grünerløkka, Mathallen, and 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏. Grünerløkka especially ended up being one of my favorite neighborhoods because it feels more local, creative, and relaxed compared to the city center. And before ending the trip, I climbed the Oslo Opera House because I had to do it just once, and I'm so glad I waited until this day to do it because the views were insane. After this video, check out my Oslo vlog to see a closer look into how my itinerary flowed. Overall, I was pretty impressed with my trip to Oslo. I expected it to be like a quick stop before exploring the fjords, but the city itself became one of my favorite parts of Norway. It's modern, clean, organized, easy to navigate, solo traveler friendly, and balances nature with city life in a way that feels really unique. If I went back, I'd honestly spend even more time cafe hopping, exploring neighborhoods, trying more saunas. I would probably do that almost every day if I could, and doing more fjord hikes nearby. If you're planning a trip to Norway, I definitely feel like Oslo is worth your time, even if it's just for a few days. I'm not trying to convince you, but I'd recommend going. I'll see you next week.